You see, something's going to happen.
What? What's going to happen?
Something wonderful.
What?
I understand how you feel. You see, it's all very clear to me now.
Welcome to the Occult Rejects. In this episode, you got myself and you got the occult mad scientist, Lisa. What is up, Lisa? Thank you very much for jumping on the show, as usual.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to be here. Can't wait to hear all this stuff going on.
Yes, and I will have to say, I mean, she's already the co-host, so she was going to be here anyway. But unfortunately, she's probably like the only other person that really entertains numbers on the Occult Rejects like I do. So, out of the whole crew that comes on, I really think me and you are really the only ones. Oh, I'd say Teresa does entertain numbers a lot too. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to be able to have somebody join me who does, and I'm very, very happy to finally get this man back on. He's been on in the past. For the new listeners, you may not have heard of him because it was so long ago, but Contemporary Problems, I think this might be your third time on now. But for all the new listeners, please let everybody know what your deal is, what you're into, and where they can find your social media, etc.
Third time's the charm.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm TJ, Contemporary Problems. You can find most of my stuff on Instagram at Contemporary Problems _ I just bought the domain contemporaryproblems.com, and I'm just finishing on that website, so I'll have that advertised for now. I've been podcasting for the last 4 years, but I went through some stuff, deleted everything, and doing a fresh start, and that's all happening right away. So
yeah. Awesome. Very good stuff. Oh, and real quick, I totally forgot. I skipped over you, Lisa, kind of in a sense. Would you like to plug where people can find you? Anything?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I totally forgot.
That's fine. Twitter, Solis Lisa, and Instagram, Lisa Solis. And then also our website, occultresearchinstitute.org. And check us out there because we have a lot of really good stuff. And one of the really great pieces on there is some of Contemporary Problem stuff. So he also is on there as well. And I'm telling you, it's pretty intriguing. That's kind of why I was excited about this show, because I've read some of the stuff that he's put on there that I was like, I can't wait. So yeah, check us out on that.
Awesome. Which I do think the link for that might be in the live chat right now, pinned at the top. But awesome. Yes, I was going to mention if you didn't, but I assumed you were going to because I know that's like your thing, the site. Contemporary Problems is on there, amongst other great researchers and people have spent time to put stuff on the website. So go check it out. If you're into numbers, Contemporary Problems has got you on the occultresearchinstitute.org. All right. So, Teej, what even got you into numbers? If you don't mind me asking.
It was the day, I wanted to look up the date because I could look up the exact date. It was the day after Trump won the election over Hillary. It was the day after, and I was a crazy person. I was already pretty knee deep into the occult, and I had a lot of metal friends that were into Satanism and that kind of stuff. So it was there was just around it a lot, and I was just getting really interested in that. And I don't know, I just was looking for more explanations the day after Trump got elected over Hillary. And I just I didn't know it was called gematria. I knew numerology a bit, but I was pen and paper, writing down A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, doing it all by hand.
That's the real gangster way.
Calculating it all by hand, looking at it, pondering it all. I had pieces of paper at the, the crazy conspiracy.
You look like Jim Carrey in 23.
The papers everywhere, just what does it mean and all that. And ever since then, it's probably about 4 years later, I found out it was called gematria. I was like, oh, that's what it's called. And then I found out there was calculators and all that, and I was already
it was gematria before I knew about gematria.
To calculate it. Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
And then it just always picked up,
If you don't mind me asking, just real quick, because I'm interested on this, what was it about Trump winning that made you start playing with numbers? Were you just how did that happen?
Well, it was just so ridiculous. It was such a shift going from Obama to Trump, and then it was Trump versus Hillary. Are you kidding me? This is just ridiculous, and that this is even a thing. That it was just so ridiculous, and I just was looking for other ways to find answers. I don't know, and I've always been really good at the board game Scrabble, very good at it. I'm not joking. I have the Scrabble app. My record is 400 wins and 19 losses. Like I'm like, and you play real people, and it's like if they're not good, I don't play them again. And that's where it started. And I think also why I'm good at that is because I was in French immersion growing up in Canada. I got kicked out of French immersion. And then I was like, okay, I learned how to read in French. I don't know how to read in English. So there was a lot of fake it till you make it. So I just paid more attention to how words are formed and how words are created. And just like was like obsessed with just like words and how they are like a thing, which is a part of gematria, like that, the word play of it all. So yeah, that's what led me to it. Like I don't know, played Scrabble against my grandma growing up and got really good at it. And just, I don't know, just a natural with this kind of stuff.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Yeah, no, I was just interested and figured like get the listeners to know like what even, what got you into this stuff. And that is interesting that the Trump selection is what. That's just funny. All right. So I guess if you want, we could, I guess like, where are we going today? And like, how did you even get there?
It's kind of like, I kind of build up to it in the past 2 episodes I've been on. Like if you watch those, that like they're connected, right. And then this will kind of connect further to that, where it's trying to pinpoint the collective mind control that we see happen to everybody, where everybody seems to be talking about the same thing. Why is everyone tapped into this right now? What are like the spells that they're casting on us? What are these enigmas? What are these kind of things going on? And it was like through that I came to this topic today, because it has a lot to do with New Year's. I talk about that in my other episodes, that New Year's has a lot to do with the rituals. Like they always brew up a couple topics and stuff that get people talking and all that around the New Year's time. So just looking deeper into that, that led me to all this.
Awesome. Yeah, that is something I did want to mention, and you just said it now. I think like where he's going with this, if you want to check out the last episode he did on this show, I don't know how long ago, maybe over a year ago. I do think if you catch that, it's like almost like part 1 to where we're going to today.
Yeah.
So I highly suggest, not to get the click, but I highly suggest to go back and maybe listen to that episode. Do you want me to pull up your slides?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Started.
There you go. All right, so
I love that front logo, by the way.
Yeah,
it's there's a secret. I don't know if you guys could decode it, but it's all secret occulted stuff.
It's layered for sure, but the dolphin thing reminds me of the dolphin experiments done by some of the government officials and
Eli Lilly.
Yes, that's where I was going with it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. It actually is it's secretly my like birth chart. It's secretly my astrology, sun, moon, and rising going on in there. So I'm clever.
That's nice. I like that.
But I don't know if you can see that the dolphins represent Aquarius rising.
That's cool.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's right. I gotta control this by the PDF. My bad. All right. So the Joker.
The Joker is the enigma. I think this is like the enigma of enigmas. Like, I don't know, once I've clued in on this, it just made a lot of sense. And then you think like to the like Heath Ledger Joker, that was like everyone's Halloween costume. That was like the most popular thing. Even like, I think it was like 2022, and I had a couple TikTok videos blow up like 5 million views or whatever. And everyone that like followed me or whatever were all like these Joker people. Like it was like everyone used the Joker filter. Everyone that followed me was the Joker for some reason, and it was just like, hey, people are like obsessed with this. Like this is a big thing. It has to do with the movies. The movies are huge. Like it's a big deal, and everyone is familiar with the Joker. Like everyone could like that's kind of. I don't really like go too deep into stuff here, but I'm hoping that everyone can be like they'll see some stuff on their own and kind of plant the seeds and be like, whoa, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Awesome. Yeah, there is I mean, I even have for myself, I'm just gonna keep it on the eye here. For myself, I do have like and I've even posted about it, I do have a Venetian mask. And the reason I have that is for total occult symbolism.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna keep it real. Jokers and things like that are very occult. in itself.
Yeah, and like the smiley face, the clown, makeup, Nephilim stuff. These are just some examples. That basketball player on the bottom with the Joker, that's his nickname, Nikola Jokic. He's the Joker. Since 2020, he's either been the MVP or the playoff MVP. So they're like really pushing the Joker. And he's a good example of that. Like those are just some examples. Like Batman, obviously really popular.
Nuggets.
Yeah, I like that painting with all the Jokers sitting around the poker table, because it reminded me of what we were talking about right before. How in my mind the original Joker was Jack Nicholson, and then you have these spin-offs of Jokers, which was Heath Ledger, and then what's his name, Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin,
Yes.
thank you. And it seems like, in my mind, and I may be biased, is that Jack Nicholson was the only one that played the Joker and didn't really go mad, whereas the other ones did. It seemed like after playing the Joker, there was all this series of stuff that came out with Joaquin, and then Heath Ledger, obviously we know what happened to him, but with Jack Nicholson, it's like, sad. In my mind, maybe they just didn't portray it the way they portrayed the other characters, but it seemed like Jack Nicholson didn't even skip a beat. He went on to the next movie that he was going to be in. So,
well, and even with that too, the other Jokers are messier. There's like two styles of Jokers. The one with a lot of makeup, like the Jack Nicholson one, all clean cut.
Yeah.
And kind of like, he's still unpredictable and everything, but he's all clean cut, rich. And then there's like the like crazy Joker, like the Heath Ledger style. And you'll see throughout various Batman comics and that kind of thing, you'll see the two different styles of Jokers.
Yeah,
even in
right.
there's a show Gotham.
Yes.
It's called. It's like Law and Order meets Batman. It's like a cop show, but it's like in Gotham. And the Joker character at the end goes from the crazy Joker, the crazy messy Joker, to like the Jack Nicholson Joker. He does a transformation, and it's like how the show ends is he does the transformation to the other Joker.
And I'm looking at that painting. I forgot about Jared Leto also being, wasn't he a Joker in one movie or something? Or am I remembering that incorrectly?
I'm not sure. Ever since I stumbled on this, I see the Joker everywhere. I see
Everywhere,
it, like,
yeah.
every
Yeah,
show. I see it. Like another good example is in the show The Office. Andy Bernard is portrayed as the Joker archetype, and if you watch, he in that show specifically, Ed Helms, the actor, he smiles really weird, especially like in the later seasons. He has this really weird all teeth like Joker smile. He's wearing like he's always wearing like pink, and he's always like tries to be funny, but is never funny when he tries. But when he just lives, everyone laughs at him. It's like that's another kind of enigma to the Joker. So this is kind of like going to the like origins of it, like where did it come from? So it originated in the United States during the Civil War, created as a trump card. Remember that name, trump card, for a game called euchre, which was like bridge or something like that. And the euchre is where we got Joker from, which is also like, there's a lot of America. Joker and the America seem to go hand in hand. And then it's like the euchre and all this came from Germany. So then that made me think of like all the NASA scientists that came from Germany. Like it's like all these German imports to America kind of thing, something going on there. But it was originally called the Imperial Bower or Best Bower or Trump card. It's basically was like, there's like jacks, queens, kings. It's like a super jack. It's like put all the four jacks together, you get the Joker. And then it's used in games as the wild card. And yeah, like we all know it as the wild card and all that. And there's like this side of it. So those are some of like the older ones I could find.
Awesome. Pretty cool looking cards.
Go to the next.
Yeah, just looking at it.
Yeah,
myself.
I think I got more. I think I got a whole. Yeah, I got a couple more going on here. Just some
That is amazing.
observing. Like it's been around. Every deck has its own kind of thing with its own hidden little thing. The bicycle. That's actually what one of my first episodes on this show was about. Was the 2 cycles. I talk about like how they do these rituals in these 2-year, 3-year, and 4-year cycles. And they do in these 2-year cycles, a bi-cycle, 2 cycles. And bicycles are never used or rarely used in movies. You'll never see them in an apocalyptic or serious movie because they're seen as comedic. So you'll only ever see bicycles in movies usually portrayed as the character being more comedic.
Wow.
Because like you think like in an apocalypse movie, like a bike would be very handy. It's like roads are blocked off, and
Right.
everything. Like a bike would be very handy, and you'll never see him riding a bike. It's comical.
You know what I find? Well, the bee, well, if that's a bee or whatever, I find that interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Even with like this Joker, the third one, down the second row on the bottom, the one on to the right, where he's like holding that thing in his hand and sitting on the steps. If you were to change that to like an Aries head and change his hat a little bit, it looks just like an Emperor card in a sense, which is like a tarot card.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll transfer the Joker to tarot a little bit later on.
But,
And like,
the bee,
I think like hive.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying like it's like the mind control stuff. So it's like the bee I see is like the hive mind. The Joker standing on the earth, standing on the planet, trying to control like the grid, trying to make sure everyone's kind of like focused on that same kind of thing. Even the guitar, he's like singing his songs so that everyone else sings along, kind of thing. Like,
You bring up an interesting point about the hive mind with the Joker, in that I believe it was definitely in the Heath Ledger one. I felt like the Joker represented all of the dark side of civilization or of humanity, and that they acted in this, hive mind mentality when they were in that state of mind. And that he embodied that, at least the Joker embodied that darker side of civilization or of the city, so to speak. So it's interesting that it would be.
Yeah, and like it's like the hive mind like helped fuel him as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Yes, definitely.
You know what I just had? I just had a wild thought. It's one of those thoughts that you have when you're stoned. And I actually wish I would have thought of this when we had Darby on, but I'll probably bring it up next time he comes on. On the Joker card that I was saying that looks like the Emperor card, the Hebrew letter that goes with it is Hey. And if you were to bring that up, I'm not going to be bothered showing it on the screen. If you were to think that was a number instead of a letter, it looks like 17.
Oh, there we go. We'll be covering that number today too. That number
Oh,
is
really?
on the list of numbers of the Joker. Oh yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So
Fuck. All right, awesome. All right, I'm done. I'm done with my stoned brain thoughts. Let's go to another one. Here we go.
So, cardomancy, another form of tarot or cardology, another form of tarot using the 52 card playing deck. 52 cards, 52 weeks, 4 suits, 4 seasons. Each day, week, month are all assigned to cards. And in leap years, this is important too, in leap years, because there's an extra day, they add the second Joker card. This is where the 2 Jokers in the deck comes from. Decks used to come with 1 Joker, and then they figured out the leap year thing, so they added a second Joker. They used to even print original card decks. They would only put a second Joker in every 4th deck to like be real, like keep really on the leap year kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
And then the extra week, even though it's 52 times 7 is 364, so we kind of have a sneaky, is there 53 weeks? But guaranteed with like the extra day and the leap year, we have the 53rd week for sure. And the Joker card would be the 53rd card in the 52 card deck. 53 is one of the main numbers of the Joker.
Oh.
Gotcha. Thanks. All right.
And then on the bottom left there, where it has December and 31st, as the
Uh-huh.
cards are laid out in order throughout the year, there's one day, and cards have multiple days. The only card that has one singular day is the Joker, and that's New Year's Eve, December 31st.
Oh, wow. Does that coincide anything with April Fool's Day? Because April Fool's Day was supposedly the true New Year,
Oh.
Yes.
and
Yes.
the people that they were making fun of people who celebrated New Year's on the 31st. Is that right?
Yes, 100%.
That's cool.
I have some of that coming up as well.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you. Here we go.
This one is just kind of like if you're to use it positively or just to help understand this enigma more. If I was like be giving you a cardology reading or whatever, this is just some of the like kind of stuff that you would get in that cardology reading if you got the Joker card to pull up. That it's like it's the potential that's in us, but maybe you're not expressing it. Like I've had this kind of card show up in readings I've done for people, and I've been like, you need to express yourself more. Like everything you want is on the other side of you expressing yourself more, kind of thing. And then it's like the wild card. It has to do with luck, getting lucky, and just like the Joker doesn't care. The Joker just goes about and it works out or it doesn't. It's just like the Joker just keeps on going, and yeah, it's just like that eccentric, that just kind of like breaking the norms. Like, and there's like, I noticed too, as I was like just touching up this presentation, there's a lot of rebirth that seems to happen with the Joker, that you kind of reach a point of madness and then it all kind of comes together. And where you go from that, you either like go to the light or you kind of become the Joker. It's kind of like the Joker's like the crazy, it's like becoming the Christ or like the Christ within. If you do it wrong, you end up like the Joker. It was like kind of how it happens. You end up going a little too crazy, a little too like fool. You get a little too on the foolishness and that kind of thing.
Interesting. I mean, have you ever like, depending, I mean, I guess it's not always the same thing, but like, I could see somebody playing the fool for manipulation purposes. I'm not saying that the Joker always necessarily means that.
No, the Joker's more like it's more about trick. It's like the trickery. And it's like the difference between the fool and the trickster is the fool the trickster knows what it's doing. It knows 100% what it's doing, that it's doing the trickery and it's to humiliate the other person.
Yes.
The fool itself gets humiliated. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
That's, I think, the difference between the fool and the Joker.
Awesome. I like that. Thank you.
Would you say that they are the opposite sides of the same coin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or they're definitely connected. They're definitely like the Joker. I have it a little bit later, but the Joker might even be the next slide. Yeah, the Joker, the two Jokers represent the Fool and the Magician. So if you're to translate that, since we're in a leap year, we have the extra Joker, you get the two Jokers. They would originally represent the Fool, and the second one represents the Magician.
Just looking at the
Because
stuff on
it's
the
like,
bottom.
I can turn this Joker thing, I can turn this into something. I got this eccentricness, I can turn this into like it's you know, it fits with the dark magic, and there's a lot of codes that show up with like the dark magic. But as far as what I've been researching is that they are related to the Fool and the Magician.
I mean, I know like a lot of tarot cards aren't always the same, and I'm not sure if the Emperor always has a thing in his hand, but at least in the Golden Dawn deck that I have, like even the Emperor, like again, not going back to that has like a thing in its hand. So I even wonder if like somehow that is even would work into this stuff and not, you never even noticed it. Because it is very like similar artwork, kind of. You know, like I'm saying,
Definitely.
like things in their hand, I'm sure are all there for a reason, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And they're cards. Like they're both cards. Jokers are on cards. It's tarot cards.
And they're all entertainers. You would call in a magician to entertain you as well.
Yeah. Well, see, that's where I was going with. Sorry, that's where I was kind of going with, like, I guess the Fool or whatever. Like, you know how like the King will have the Joker that will kind of the Fool that kind of like entertains the people. Like, I do think that's more of like here's this is entertainment for you to like. It's all like kind of now with politics. It's all a fucking sideshow, you know, thing that you're just being hand fed.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like the jester, right?
Yes, that's what it is.
Jester's
Jester.
privilege,
Fuck.
which is like, it has been approved to make the jokes, and we see that at like the very top of the chain of comedy. We see that same kind of thing where there's certain guys that can get away with saying whatever, and other people that have a little bit more boundaries or won't get, you know, like there is those kind of things happening.
Or like in today's day and age, is the comedians who basically espouse all of the conspiracy theories.
Yeah, that went hand in hand.
You know, to be totally honest with you, that's where I was kind of going with the manipulation. As I was thinking about all the comedians getting into conspiracy theories now. It's very profitable. You know, and to tell you the truth, I think most of them are part of the club anyway, so they ain't telling you of anything of any deep interest because they're not allowed
Exactly.
to.
They take you nowhere.
Yeah, you're actually,
Like, that's what I
again,
find.
they're being the
I don't
jester.
go anywhere. Yeah.
They're giving you what they
Yeah.
want you to know for people to go rave about on Instagram and Twitter and idolize the person and think they're going to save us from what save us, I guess. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just very
last
weird.
plug
Briefed on
because
how far they can take it. Yeah.
yes, one last plug because I think a lot of people forget that it was Gregory guy, the comedian Gregory, that brought us a supporter film, right? On Geraldo.
Yes.
And he was a comedian. Yeah. Okay,
It's just-
that was it. Sorry.
No, it's just very, isn't it very weird? I don't know.
Okay, so we are in the Joker decade. So the Joker's been everywhere, and it was brewing up since like the 2010s into the 2020s. Every year in 2020 is going to have a 202 in front of it. The 202nd prime number is 1231. 1231, New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1231. The 202nd prime. They use prime numbers a lot. Prime numbers, not divisible by any other number. They carry a certain kind of power to it. And then you use them like sequences. So you could say, oh, like I cover a lot of prime numbers on this, but so we're looking at the 202nd. We're going to look at the 59th prime number, the 17th prime number, all these kind of things because they're undivisible. It's one of my favorite kind of numerical sequences to add to my work or whatever. And so these are some 202s that show up, and like you're gonna see a lot of things that have happened in the past few years show up through them. I don't know exactly if I need to like read them all out for the people or like just take a browse or see if anything kind of stands out. Like the fact on the right that like teacher and cheater are an anagram for each other. Like I think that's kind of like that goes with like the fool and the Joker. Like one humiliates itself, one humiliates the others, and I think it just kind of fits with that. Like hidden meaning, we'll see a lot of that. Like trick.
I think like with Red Heifer, it's the harbinger of something, and with Reddit, I'm always scanning to see if they know something before everybody else does. But
yeah, trick equals 202. Chaos magic, grift. Like we're talking about all the comedic grifters out there not taking us anywhere. It's the same thing, right? When they the rebels and their
Oh, sorry. Let me go on to the next one.
So we got a whole another half a decade of Joker stuff. And so I included Humpty Dumpty on there. This is Cosmic Egg. On the left is like something I pulled from the internet, put some stuff on top. The right is like a thing I made. So, and this has to do with April 1st now as well. So on the left, that's like the diagram you get when you're trying to check the solstices, the placement of the sun going around or the Earth going around the sun. I almost said it the other way because views or whatever, but the solstice is not, it's the longest day of the year, but it's not when the sun is the highest in the sky. Or the winter solstice, same thing. It's not when the sun is the lowest in the sky. It's about 2 weeks after the solstice is when the sun's the highest in the sky, but the longest day of the year is the summer solstice. But I live up north enough where I know that first week of July, the like sun doesn't really go down. The sunset and sunrise times might be different, but I'm north enough where like from July 1st to July probably 10th, the like sun doesn't really go down. Like the sky is bright at night still. It doesn't fully like set down. So with this too, like if you take the chart on the left and you tilt it to make the egg shape that I have on the right, that makes this cross, the center of where Aries would be April 1st, April Fools, which is supposed to be the new year, the start of the astrological calendar, Aries. I also want to point out that included in that date, lowest part of the sky, January 6th, a big date. And that first week in January has a lot of ritual because that's when the sun's at its most detriment, at its most weakest point, is when it's that like first week after the new year. And that's why it's so hard. You celebrate the new year and then you got this, like, you're still in like the deep darks, the sun's buried, like it's not really like a very energizing new year ever if you celebrate on the 31st.
All right, you want me to go to the next one?
Yeah, I'll bring that up again later as I talk about that. So New Year's matches with Psyops, Pole Shift, Mirrors, Nikola Jokic, the Joker player, that NBA player whose nickname is the Joker, who's been the MVP all of the 2020s, which is the Joker decade. He matches with New Year's. 911 twists. Also, Elon Musk equals 110. I don't have that on there. And then there's a lot connected to the United States. Happy New Year, United States match. And then if you go to the bottom, you got New Year's Eve, New Beginnings. We even have January 6th show up again. Hypnotized. I'm trying to point out all this mind control that they're doing in the Moon Matrix, you know? Like, these are all those. December 12, even with that 142 there, is 1212, which is 202 times 6. And times 6, I think of as hexed. To cast the spell, you multiply it by 6 to give it structure and harmony. And I have a couple ciphers that are in that as well. But yeah, these, and then you see the 142, the reverse of that down the bottom switches to 124. So it's the same numbers getting played around. Those will carry the same kind of energies. The Phoenix shows up as 124, which matches with January 1, which is supposed to be the new year. Joaquin Phoenix. It's also Joaquin Phoenix. And he has the Q in his name. Q's the 17th letter. We'll get to that a little bit later as well. And I have Isaac Newton there. There's some connected with gravity and all this as well. I bring that up on the other episodes too. I talk about how there's something to do with, like, because gravity is only a theory. Like, yeah, it just goes deep. It goes deep. Alice in Wonderland, 1231.
Sausage fingers. 5 of Pentacles. That's interesting.
Mental illness, right? Like, that's what we're talking about. The Joker is the craziness. So April Fools matches with 88. 88 is going to show up a bunch. We got conspiracy. You know, Kanye West was pushed for 2 years. It was like all anyone would talk about, it seemed. Right? The pole shift, North Pole, this perfect circle. Like, it's the year, the circles. It's all that kind of stuff. We're worried about it. We're worried about a blackout. That kind of thing.
I remember last time when you came on, I think you went off on some like Tate type thing, just for all the listeners. I think you had took Tate.
That was because it had to do because it's a 2-year ritual. So that was not this past New Year's. That was the New Year's before that. Was all around Tate and sex trafficking.
Yes.
So to continue that ritual to start
Tate
2024, the Epstein documents were released on Greta Thunberg's birthday, which is January 13th.
Yo, isn't he always beefing with her?
Prime number.
That's funny.
And April 1st is the 92nd day of the year. The Joker equals 92.
Oh,
like,
wow.
it's all connected. The Fool, the Joker, all this. Yes. The Mandela Effect, breaking news, the Ferris wheel at the carnival, Batman and Robin.
Chad's like, is this why the Olympics happens every 2 years? Verse 4 in the past.
Yeah, but Summer Olympics are always the same. They're always every 4 years. And they're always in the leap year.
That's true. All right. On to the next.
So yeah, these are 2 of the main numbers. And then these are a bunch of the numbers that I think I'm covering most of these numbers. But the Joker equals 59. 59 is the 17th prime number. So that's very important. So there's your 17. And then the Joker's 92. We're going to see that a bunch as well. And then the other numbers at the top, I don't know if I have too much 113, 311, but they're used so much. I could do a whole episode on just those 2 numbers. But we have those numbers that show up. And then the bottom ones are all numerologically factors of 8. 8 1 plus 7 and 17 equals 8. 2 plus 6 equals 8. 3 plus 5 equals 8. 4 plus 4 equals 8. 5 plus, like so on and so forth. The bottom row. So we're going to go through all these numbers that equal 8 through gematria and show how they're also connected to the Joker.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So we're going to start with 8. And I have a little message for those that we're all in 2024. It's an 8 year, 2 plus 2 plus 0 plus 4. Or I also look at it as 20 plus 24 equals 44, which is on that. So we're in the Joker decade, and we're in the Joker year of the Joker decade, is the best way I can say it. And then I have 8, and then the 8th letter is H. Put those together, H8, hate. What do you do with all this bottled up hate? Do you transmute it into something? That's what comedy is too, taking all that hate and giving it, like delivering it through love, or like transmuting that hate and that pain
Alchemy
and all that into the alchemy. And then I had realized this is a nice little just like kind of horoscope thing for everybody, because we are in the 8 year. I say this year is snakes and ladders. Your 8 is the snake and your H is the ladder. So those that have been slithering, it's going to come down. The world might come crashing down on them. And those that have been climbing the ladder, doing the work, not taking all the shortcuts, not doing all the slithering, it's going to come back around for you. And just keep climbing that ladder. And we're going into August, the 8th month, make or break this August for a lot of people. So get to it, start climbing that ladder. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to see this number 8 show up a bunch.
You know, I mean, I could be getting into it before I even get to the slide, but I mean, even the 8, I would count that as being on the magician card too at the infinity symbol.
Oh yeah, 100%. There you go.
Yeah.
So we got some 59s. These are pretty big. We got the Joker, the dragon, and then the dragon, I don't know, it just came to mind now. I thought of dragonflies and how they kill mosquitoes, and mosquitoes are like the vampires of nature. So like there's something with that, like the Joker hates Batman, but it's like the bat. So it's like, and then I was like, I used to like love Batman. That was like my favorite superhero as a kid. But then I'm like, oh, he's like the joke where he's like, oh, it's just a rich guy beating up poor people. And I'm like, oh, I don't like Batman as much anymore. He's kind of like he vamped in on like there's probably a movement to like bring Gotham around, and he's like, well, I got all my resources. I'm rich. I'm the rich kid. I'm gonna do it instead. Cypher, we're talking about gematria, we're talking about ciphers. Crow, dark, like these are some dark stuff. Glitch, like it is like the Joker is kind of that glitch, that enigma, that anomaly. Scream, right? The face. It's the Nephilim stuff too. Like it's all the clowns, like any kind of clown thing. Like it's all a part of that. Even Wasp, like the card. Bicycle equals 59. You get canceled from your skit because you're fringe. Those all equal 59. Tiger 2020 kicked off with like the most trending thing was Tiger King. That was like all anyone could talk about, you know? Like it's all a part of this thing.
Yo, I swear to you, bro, I know I've made like jokes about it. Like, unfortunately, it didn't happen, but there was like certain things that like I felt like we were seeing repeated, but just in different ways. Like, we had the Tiger King, but then like all of a sudden, like if things would have went the way they were supposed to go, we're gonna have Mike Tyson fighting some dude. I mean, that guy had tigers, you know. And then like, we had Jeffrey Epstein, and now we have fucking P. Diddy. Yeah. You know, it was just like weird. Like they haven't gone anywhere with any of those, but like when those things started popping up, I was just like, it seems like very weird similarities from 4 years ago. It's just like being redone again.
Yeah. And then at the bottom of that list, I have Alberta there. That's where I'm from. But the capital of Alberta is Edmonton, and Edmonton's longitude is 53. So we got Alberta. There's something connected with that. I brought that up with a couple other gematria friends, and they're like, oh yeah, there's all this. So it's pretty crazy that like my hometown is part of this kind of enigma. And then NYPD, I found interesting. I have a joke because you guys are talking a lot about true crime and all that. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a big fan of false crime. I'm a big fan of crime shows. So I thought it'd be funny to start the first ever false crime podcast where I talk about like law and order and stuff. And that's why NYPD is there, because I see they use the numbers like crazy. And a lot of times in Law and Order, when they like push the criminal to the point, they all start laughing. They always start laughing. They're always like, ha ha ha, this is funny. I'm doing all this bad things. Ha ha ha. Like more times than not. Yeah. And then on the right there too, with the gravity thing, the straw man matches with 17 in 1666 of all years. Right? 1666 going on there. And 1666 of all years was the year the apple fell from the tree. It's also the same year that the straw man was put into effect. Very interesting.
I was going to say the 17 because of the whole Q thing, and it behaved like a magic 8 ball. People would ask it questions, or it would ask other people questions, right? It's this question type dialogue. But the other thing on 17, dragon and crow, the thing that comes to mind was Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee, and then his son dies the same way in the movie Crow. Whoa. So I don't know if that's correct to say that, but that's what I thought about.
Oh, and even that's why I have John Mayer at the bottom there too, because he's Gravity. And then there's one there's one comedian that I'm not gonna name names, but he I swear he was part of some dark arts against me, and I clued into all this kind of stuff. I even saw one of his he has a podcast with someone. I went and saw this other comedian live, and I hung out with him after, and I made the joke. I'm like, man, it's like you have a crystal ball on my life, and you just made fun of me for 2 hours straight. Little did I know they might actually, because I found a way. Oh, I know this person. Blah blah blah. I found all these things, and this one guy looks like John Mayer. He has the same dark beady eyes, and I'm just like, ugh. And then I was just looking up kind of some deep Gravity codes, and for whatever reason, this comedian's name just kept showing up, matching with John Mayer and Gravity and all this stuff. And he is of Jewish descent, so my joke was I call him John Mayerowitz. But yeah, I don't want to get into that too much. But John Mayer's most popular song was Gravity, so he's part of the Gravity. Some apparently John Mayer's an enemy in my life, it seems. So I don't
know. Before we move on, I would just ask you real quick. You don't have to get into it too much. Have you ever come across 93s a lot? Because somebody was mentioning Trump saying that a few times prior getting shot at.
Oh yeah, 93s are it's Saturn, right? It's Saturn's number. It's one of the main numbers of Saturn, and then 8 is also connected to Saturn too. So these are all a little bit Saturnistic. I do tap into the 93s a little bit later, and I think even on the other presentation I cover 93 quite a bit on one of the earlier ones.
That is also used amongst Thelemites and Thelema in the OTO and stuff. Just letting the other person know 93 could be a short way of saying do what thou will to somebody. It is a phrase that's used in the OTO lodges and Thelemic surroundings. All right, next one.
26. Awesome. So the 26 prime number is 101. Beetlejuice, climate change, Crowley. 86 is a big one too, because that's 86. I don't know if you guys have ever worked in restaurants, but when something is 86th, it's no longer on the menu. You're not serving it for the rest of the night. It's a code, and it's that's what it means. So I see a lot of 86, for example, fast food in gematria equals 86, right? It's it's that's not good for you, it's kind of that number. So when I see that 86 show up, it's oh yeah, I got to include that.
All right, that's interesting. Crowley.
Yeah, gematria code, magnetism. So the English alphabet has 26 letters, so it's the letter Z. So then we're talking A to Z. Joaquin Phoenix, Arizona. The Super Bowl was in Phoenix, Arizona on 2/12, and why I have those 2/12s there is because that's boiling point in Fahrenheit. So Joker is about reaching this boiling point, about you're just so that you either lose your mind or you find Jesus or whatever, like whichever way you go about it. But it really has to do with this like boiling point. So Super Bowls are rituals. Super Bowl ritual equals 212. And that year it was in Phoenix, Arizona on February 12th, 212. And that also leaves 322 days left in the year, which is the number of skull and bones. We'll see that show up, I think, in the next couple slides. And then when you add up when you type in A to Z in the calculator and add up all the letters in the alphabet, you get 1 + 2 + 3 all the way to 26. You get 351, and those have some cool matches. I pulled these from like a more positive thing, so they're less like Joker kind of thing. But as you can see, it's like, where do you go from that? Once you reach that boiling point, do you go crazy, or do you like find love kind of thing, or do you find like the holiness, or find the light, or whatever, or do you find the darkness because you go a little crazy, go a little too like, you know, off the edge.
You know what I find interesting with this now? It could be a different cipher, but you know, me and Lisa were working on something with JD Vance and Peter Thiel, and Thiel did match Crowley and magnetism. I remember that. So that's interesting how like even Thiel might be fitting into this.
Yeah. Peter Thiel's also an anagram for the reptile.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What I like about this is the palindrome feel to it.
The 212 and the 101.
Yeah.
Yeah. The palindromes, we call them, we have a funner word we call them sandwich numbers.
Oh,
Because
nice.
they're sandwiched in there.
Nice. It's said, and I have yet to find documentation of this, but it is said, like actual concrete proof that is whatever. But it is said that viruses, when they scan your DNA, they insert themselves within palindromic sequences of your DNA, and that technology is how we got genetically modified organisms, like your crops and stuff like that.
Wow.
They were areas of point mutation that you could actually cause like genetic drift or epigenetics, and it's within these palindromic sequences within your DNA. So they say.
Damn. That's the theory. That's the word on the street.
That's the theory. That's the word on the streets. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's deep.
All right,
Yeah.
Go on to the next one. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
That was pretty wild.
And I don't know whether it's like Phoenix, Arizona, Phoenix Horizon, right? It's like, and I do like work where I go over the maps and try and find symbols like on Google Maps or whatever, and you can found a bunch of phoenixes and scorpions and stuff in Arizona, like shaped on the maps and stuff. I don't have any of that stuff here, but it's all there. It's all like laid out. It's all pre-planned, so it seems. So we had those 142s already. 35 equals 142, which was New Year's Eve. So connecting that to the Joker, it's also the reverse of 53. Its prime number is 149. I said the 212 day leaves 322 days of the year. The number of skull and bones, which equals 149, which is the 35th prime number. 35 matches January 1 as well. Happy President's Day, the crucified Jesus, occult knowledge, government trolls, the witch and the fool, which there is like the feminine Joker. I'll get on that a bit later. It's coming up right away. Like because the new Joker movie has Lady Gaga, so we'll look at Lady Gaga a bit as well. But we have April 7th, right? Which is 4-7, and then 47 equals, which is the degree on the compass with the G on it, is 47 degrees. So the secret society show up on this a bit. January 3rd shows up. Again, that's the day, that's Greta's birthday. And then a year later, they release Epstein's documents on that day. And January equals 90. So January 3 equals 93. And then it says 66 there. I have Saturn in the prime cipher. So all the letters are equal to the prime sequence, equals 317. And when you flip 317 upside down, you get the word lie, L-I-E. So this is all about kind of showing that like how the deception is kind of used.
You know,
like,
I've even thought...
And I think it's why like...
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I lost it.
Oh, fuck.
I was just saying like Edward Snowden be like, oh, but Edward Snowden, he's on our side or whatever. It's like, I don't know whether their names fit these numbers, they get pushed. Like, that's what I learned. Like, I have like, whatever, I have like 50,000 followers on TikTok, 24,000 on Instagram. My shit's so banned The only reason I got that is because I clued into like, oh, if I use these gematria things and include these people or talk about these things, the algorithm just pumps it and pumps it. So like I used to find these kind of things like this and be like, okay, they're really pushing this. Oh, if I post Dolores Cannon, it's magically gets shown to, it magically gets 1 million hits or whatever. So there's a lot of these kind of things, and I was like pretty tapped into that stuff for a while. So we will see a lot of like kind of things that we've seen in the past couple of years show up on these numbers. You were about to say something.
Yeah, I forgot now. My bad. Sorry about that. All right, here we go.
Okay, 44, the birthday of Heath Ledger. April 4th, 4-4. There we go. Instantly connected to the Joker. And like Heath Ledger, that performance is, I still think that performance is the best cinematic performance of all time. Like that performance is like there, I don't even know what you would compare. I don't even know who you would bring to try and compare that to. Like it's just so like just the whole story of it and everything, and just it's just perfection. It's like it's so good. And then like he's robbing from banks and stuff. Well, we got the US dollar equals 444 USD, and then I also have the USD and reduced so that it goes down to get 314, which is the same as Canada's dollar, CAD. 314, which is pi, right? Coins, dollars, circles, money is connected to pi. FYI. And then Canada, USA, Mexico equals 53. And then it's a joke because when you put Canada, USA, Mexico, what do the first letters spell? It's a joke. It's a silly word. And that's on purpose. It's the CUM. And both Canada and USA, Independence Day, July 4th, and Canada Day is July 1st. Both those countries are in the sign Cancer. So Cancer equaling 44 as well. And then we have some more 93s. 193 is the 44th prime number. But what did we see in the past couple of years? Because we're in the Joker decade. East Palestine, Ohio. Right? Like that was all the train crashes and chemical leaks and all that stuff. And then again, it's like psychopathically juxtaposition. The Sound of Freedom, which people were like, oh no, they're not on our side too. That was like another movie that was like a thing. Gravity prison. What I'm trying to tell everybody, we're in some sort of magical prison, which is like some sort of weird virtual reality. And then the 44s are huge. A lot of the gematria guys that are all about the murder by numbers, 44 is one of the biggest death days.
I think 44, 48.
And kill days and sacrifice days. Yeah. And 44 kill equals 44, karma equals 44, hidden, Set, which is the Egyptian Satan or that kind of thing, clock, father time. And then 44, like I said, it's snakes and ladders. Ladder equals 44. So we're in a 44 year, snakes and ladders.
Right,
Big lie, Gov. I included Don't Stop Me Now as well because Queen will show up on this as well. A little bit later.
All right, awesome.
Oh, look. Heath Ledger again, because he died on January 22nd. 53 equals 122. So he was born on 44, and then he died on a number that's related to the number 53, which I said is the number of the Jokers. Sacrifice much? But those are some 122s right there. And then I spelled the word backwards because this whole year, the whole decade started off with a thing that forced everyone to change their lives and the world was never the same. So I think people can figure out what that is. So that is like brews into it all. The Super Bowl ritual in 2019, before all that went down, before we were paying attention to all this, was Super Bowl 53. And look at it. Lie. The lie.
Wow.
And Tom Brady matches with 5-3. They won 130 or 13-3. The Patriots representing like justice, which would be Libra. Rams representing Aries, which is, so you have your Alpha Omega. I break that down in a bit later. But government, that's the equals 133, and it's one of the main numbers government uses. And then those 53s on the side, we got like sheep, Sabbath, everyone rest, everyone stay home and rest, right? Like Axis, control, Caturl, but like control, database, coffin, deceive. Like it matches, like that devoc word matches with deceive. And it's like, like it just seems like a simple calculator could have saved the world 4 years ago. So it goes deep in that, yeah. Kansas City equals 122. They've been winning the Super Bowl, and KC would be 111. K is the 11th letter, C is the third letter, so that's your 113. I said there's a ton of that shows up, but I wasn't able to cover a lot of it. So I included Don't Stop Me Now because Queen equals 62. And I said it has to do with gravity at the very bottom there. Yeah, it's the formula for gravity. When you type that into the gematria calculator, it equals 62. And the gravity has to do with the magnetism and the feminine energy. That's why we have Madonna and Magdalene. And Plasma's already showed up, but like Plague matches with Queen. I don't know. Fibonacci is the fib of no chi. Like I'm kind of against that. I call it. It's the flower of lies and the fib of no chi.
What's interesting is we covered the guy who came up with the whole Fibonacci thing, and he was son of a merchant or something, and he brought back information, mathematics from the Middle East, I believe. And the West took to it very well because they had not been able to advance in their mathematics academically. But it was the point in time when all the civilizations in the West decided to separate the alphabet from numerology. But that was that point in time with Fibonacci. So it's interesting you say that the deceit and the lie, because it's at that point that you have that merge from the alphanumerical system.
Well, you did mention, and I think it is something worth mentioning on the show, not to get off the topic, but it was something that Lisa did mention in the chat. Euclidean? I'm probably saying it wrong.
Oh, yeah, Euclidean.
Yeah, that is somebody we will actually cover. We even have Empedocles too. I'm just giving shout outs for future shows. Figuring ways to plug it. And so we
are those guests or what is
No, we're gonna be covering those people. Yeah, we're gonna be covering those topics.
Or what is
But it was because of the gematria stuff that we started doing. Oh, sorry.
Which person?
Yeah. Was it Euclid? Would you say?
Yeah, you say
Euclidean.
Yeah.
Euclidean geometry. And then
Euclidean. Yeah. So I started off. Joker came from a game called Euchre.
Oh.
Oh wow.
And then even it comes up later, but we're they've been funneling money to Ukraine.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Something with that Euc.
Yeah.
Well, it was our whole thing off of geometry that kept pointing us into these directions, especially Euclidean geometry. And so that's why I'm like, we're itching to get into it, because when we were looking into some of this gematria stuff, it just kept popping up over and over. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something we're going to get into, and just for the live people, because there's a bunch of people listening, and just like to shout out that like we do have some pretty big deep dive that I'm giving Lisa all the credit for on JD Vance and Peter Thiel. That will be coming soon. That should be really interesting, and we are covering Empedocles, which I'm actually, that was another one. That was Lisa's idea, as well as Euclidean. So the whole thing was, I was actually trying to give her credit due. She is coming up with great topics to bring to the show. Thank you.
Oh, no, you're fine.
All right, so go ahead, Teej.
One more thing to Plague. So 293 is the 60-second prime number. So Plague equals 62, and then in Latin it equals the 60-second prime number of 293. And then we got Samsara, right? Like the loops, the cycles that we're in, like disease matches, like all these match. Like it's kind of messed up.
That's crazy.
And it has to do with the feminine energy, like, and that's why the Joker's got the feminine, which leads us to me kind of talking about that on the next slide. So we have Lady Gaga.
Awesome.
Yeah, you could go to the next slide, I guess. Yeah. Because she's the Harley Quinn. She's the new Joker. Ga 7-1, reverse 17, Gaga. You got the 71, 17 going on there in her name. And then the 71s match here, I will connect more to the Lady Gaga at the very end. The 71s are crazy. It's got all the names going on it. And what's interesting is Virgo and Pisces both equal 71 because like astrologically, those have to do with reality. Virgo very much is the reality and Pisces is the dream world. So it's the clashing of those two. What are we in the dream? Are we in the reality? And that just has a lot to do with like the Joker breaking free from the reality. Oh no, you guys all work for the system. We're going to go joke around and slum around and laugh it off and just take what we want and do as we please kind of thing. Celtics, they won this year in the NBA. Usher performed at the Super Bowl. Boxing, like you brought up earlier with Mike Tyson and the Tiger and all that. Kid Rock was big in the trending, was a trending topic when he was shooting those beer cans and stuff.
Yes, I really do think.
Yeah,
there was stuff with Kid Rock. I hate to say it, I do think he's like just part of like the spellcast, something as symbolism with his name and everything. That's just my opinion.
Oh yeah, I think I used to say that there's like a threshold or like something like a funnel where it's like how far do they have you? Where there's a lot of people maybe floating around where it's like, hey, maybe just don't say that. And then there's people where they're fully like controlled and they know, but then there's people there that are just like, hey, they have like a manager or someone or like a handler kind of thing where they're like, oh, you should post this on this day.
Yes.
Make sure to post it. Oh, it'd be good to post it on this day. Like those kind of things where they don't really know. They're just like, oh, no, my guy says to do this. So I do this, talk about this on that day kind of thing.
Yeah,
Again, we have Deceiver. It's all about this. It's all about the deception and like the riddles. The Riddler is another Batman character, but it's still, and the rigging. Like, oh, the election was rigged. It was stolen. So we got the 71.
Mm-hmm. Grimes and PayPal.
Yep.
That's interesting, right?
Yep.
I saw Grimes right away. I was like, wow.
And Grimes and PayPal match. Yeah, that was even like I figured that one out like a long time ago when I was like pretty new into Gematria. I was like, oh, let's go figure. Chucky, another clown.
Anything else on there that matches him? Yeah, all right. Just seeing if anything else popped out for Elon off that list.
What's Lady Gaga's most famous song? Poker Face. So we're still keeping with the 80s.
Yes,
and it's Poker,
right.
Joker, you girl, all that stuff, right? So it's just funny how that works. And then 80, it was like again, we're just keeping with like the theme of the 8. So again, we have like Offering seems to show up quite a few where Offers shows up. The Rebirth, the Rock always seems to be trending. I have Bryant in there. There's so much Kobe connected to this. One of Kobe's main numbers is 41, which is then April Fool's. Like I could do an 8-hour series on just Kobe Bryant and codes.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, like it's so deep, and I call it's like the Kobe 19. It's all part of the Joker. It's all part of all this stuff. Like it goes very deep.
I think your first show was on Kobe
episode where I was like, "Yo, this guy sounds like Kobe," and then right at the end, they're like, "Where is he?" They're like, "He's in Kobe, Japan," and I was like, "Ah!" Like it's just so clear to me that this is like what it is that they do.
Awesome. Oh yeah.
Schizo equals 80. Like it's that kind of thing. Like
brain chip.
We've had King Cobra show up a few times too. Filthy Tricks, right? Apple pie, that American pie.
Injects.
Yeah.
89.
So yeah, we're just keeping with the 8 theme again. It's like Hologram, the Beehive, Parasite, Da Vinci Code. It's supposed to be Fallen Angel, not Falled Angel. Summer and Winter match, which is like maybe I like deep theory think that like winter is part of this, like is like a byproduct of the Matrix. And living in Canada is so cold. It's like I have to convince myself that winter isn't real, and that's like a theory I have going, that winter's like a byproduct of like the reality that we're in. It created a winter, and the world didn't live with winter. There was a point where winter didn't really exist. It was just kind of like the rain season globally. Blue Pill equals 89, which I thought was interesting, but then it's like Digital Code, Mutant, and then we got Reptilian, Saturnalia matches with 89, Serpents, April 4, 4/4 again shows up. We got Obama. May 2nd is 5-2, like the 52 cards in the deck.
Smith.
Double helix, you brought up DNA. So there we go again.
This is interesting. So I get quiet. I just I'll be staring at this stuff, just trying to see if anything pops out at me.
The 98, the speed of gravity in meters per second, 9.8. So I've covered that on past episodes, but I cover more like 981 and I go deeper into it. And again, Queen, I predicted the day that she was going to be announced dead because of this, because I was already like on top of all this stuff. And
did I lose it?
And it was because it was that day had 80, it had the 98, so it had the gravity, but it also had 86 numerology, which means X. It means cut out. Something's no longer going to be served. So I was like, there's going to be a very significant death on September 8th, 2022. And boy, was I right. Because it ended up being the Queen.
And one of the things I think Teresa had mentioned that it was also on the feast day of the Mother of God, Mother of Jesus. And so it's a thought that the royal family is the counterfeit bloodline. And so therefore, if you cut out the real bloodline, you can insert the counterfeit one.
I had thought I had that code somewhere in there. Maybe we skipped it or it's upcoming, where it was like, I forget what it was, but it was like, it matched one of these numbers and it was like something like the real royal family or something like that. It was like, it matched with it kind of thing. So same thing. So we got the alphabet, which we've been talking about. May 3rd, 5-3 equals 98. Smiley face, Red Balloon, Blue Angels, another movie that's come out in past couple of years.
Wasn't
Ukrainian.
Blue Angels was in, wasn't that using the Top Gun movie?
No, I think it was maybe, but there was like a fighter kind of movie. I think it was like a team. What else is funny is like when we were young boys, we used to light our farts on fire. We called those Blue Angels. So I think we even tried to start a hockey team or something, and we wanted to call ourselves the Blue Angels.
Oh my God, you're lit farts.
That was about 15 years ago, but yeah.
Oh my God. Funniest shit I ever heard in my life was like one of my friends, like he was going out with the girl at the time. And like we were young and we were probably like 18. And like this chick admitted to like burning her underwear trying to light her own farts. It was like, yo, did some chick? I didn't think people really tried doing that.
Oh no, we were really big into it for some reason. I got kicked out of a bar once.
I was like, and you admitted that. Fucking insane. That is
we're talking about the Joker. I gotta sneak in a Joker too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we've kind of been alluding to it, but what happens in leap years? What happens every 4 years? And leap years have 2 Jokers in it. So what happens that comes down to 2 people, 2 Jokers in leap years? Every 4 years we have this, where you have to pick between 2 Jokers. Happens in America.
Oh, the election.
The election always comes down to 2 Jokers. So we go to the next one.
Oh, boy.
We got the Fool and the Magician. Oh, look, Joe Biden's birthday in numerology equals 92, like the Joker. Joe, hey, I'm the Fool. He's on the bike, bike memes, bike, all that, the bicycle, the Joker.
That's right.
He's the Fool. And who's the other guy? Trump, the Trump card, right? It's called the Trump card. So it was between these 2, although I made this before the new curveball, but I added to that now that Joe has stepped down. But we have Trump, and then it's like, oh, do they use it or not? Well, text Trump 88022. Trump equals 88. Mega equals 22. You don't think that they're not using this stuff? You don't think that they don't know about this? Like Trump is 100% the magician, the mega, the magi. But then the weird thing, because like with Kabbalah coming and stuff, though, the mega is the Magdalene, the magnetism, the magi. It is the feminine energy. So it has to do with that. There's even, and it's like the red. There's a room in the White House that was women only forever, and it was called the Red Room. And they had a very specific bird in this Red Room, called a magpie. They kept magpies in the Red Room in the White House. I don't have a slide on that, but yes, that was a thing for many years. I think they now allow men in it, but way back in the day, it was like a place for women to go have their women-only conferences kind of thing. So with Kamala coming in, we got Trump stirring up this feminine energy. It's all about this transfer of this feminine energy. And he brought up Top Gun. Top Gun's movie, the new one, was all about the female role and the female like having the big part in it. So it's like this big shift. And it has to do with the queen dying. It has to do with all this feminine stuff. Because I think it's the next slide. Oh, look, that 71 I was talking about. Kamala's full name in reduction equals 71. So all the gematria calculators around the same time, shortly after the queen passed, I don't know if it was like a consciousness upload thing, but like Gematrix, Gematrinator, all these gematria sites that have these large databases, within like a 2-day span, they all deleted their database. Every single one of them. And like Gematrix had a brand new database, like you search matches, there'd be nothing on there. And then same with like Gematrinator changes, so you have to like subscribe and like check a box with like saying that they can like look up your stuff or whatever. Like you have to become a member to like use it. That code, I used to like the Q thing. I would ask the Gematrinator questions. I asked it in the Satanic Cipher, was the queen death a gravity ritual? And what did it match with? Vice President of the United effing States.
Oh,
Kamala. Wow. She's always laughing. Ha ha ha, the Joker, right?
Interesting.
And the ha ha, I didn't even cover the ha ha because it started like this is 2 years ago, but it's like Hawaii, Hawaii, Hamas, ha, mass. The mass is gravity, density. Joker, gravity, Hamas. And then it was like, it's even deeper because Ohio in the middle is 2 O's with a HI in the middle. That's the abbreviation for Hawaii. So East Palestine, Ohio was happening, and then Hawaii caught on fire after that. So it's like you had the high, and then you have Hawaii, which also had the high. And then I lost it on that, but like, yeah, the and then Hamas, right? From East Palestine to now Palestine and Hamas, which is mass is gravity, and the Joker gravity. It's all part of it. So this is just like my belief, but I think that the queen death or whatever, they're transferring some sort of energy to be able to prepare like another woman in power to take over what kind of energy they have. Because they do the inauguration. It's a big ritual. I cover that in my other ones. It has the Vesica Pisces, and it has the monument, which the monument's the male part, and the Vesica Pisces is the female part, and it's a big fertility ritual. So again, that's why they've also been skeptical to do it with a female. And then they also, President Ford or whatever, has the quote where he's like, the only way a woman's going to get in power is if she becomes vice president and something happens to the president. So then it's like, it's very interesting if that's still going to happen. Is Joe going to be able to make it the rest of the way? Right. I don't know the over under on that, but I don't think it's great. But like, yeah, she's the laughing lady. Like she just laughs. All she does is laugh. So she's so we have the female Joker movie coming out. I just pointed out the Jokers, and now we have the laughing lady and the Lady Gaga and the 71s matching. So sorry to ruin the script, but it's like we all kind of know it's either kind of going this way, right?
You think something will happen with Joe, or you think she'll beat Trump?
I don't know. I was thinking that Joe wouldn't make it this far. Another fun fact, every president except for one, I didn't have my thing there, but every president except for one that died while in office was elected in a year that ended in a 0. So it's like 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6, whatever it is, that died while they were still serving in office. They were all elected in a year that ended in 0. Joe being the last one elected in 2020. So that's very interesting. That's just a fact. That's not even a conspiracy theory. That's just a fact. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. Something else. I forget. Oh, I don't know. I was gonna. It's crazy that the first ever president on color TV gets assassinated on TV.
Because, like, if you think you know, Joe coming out and saying he's not running anymore, I mean, still is a reason for her to even be running for president now. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, so like I do like it is. I do see it working either way in a sense. Either her,
but then it's like what then like raises suspicion in me is like there's the Trump and the MAGA and the Magi, and then kind of playing with this feminine energy and this alchemy. What's that going to create? Like what is their plan with that? So this is like, and this even fits with it. So we have the cosmic egg. Like I have like a whole presentation breaking down the astrology, the cosmic egg, the sun placements, and all this. And the egg, A to G, which is Gaga backwards, right? But we got the 17, the first letter and the seventh letter. So we have that 1-7, which also equals 8. Aries, the alpha, known as the alpha it's the first sign. It's generally the alpha. It has the alpha tendencies. That's what it's about. Libra, the omega. The omega symbol is the sign for Libra, representing the balance of that, representing the justice. And so Aries to Libra, the top half of the astrological wheel, the summer vibes, March to September, the summer vibes, that's your alpha omega. And so that's going from 1 to 7. And that's where we get the cosmic egg. So that adds to the 17. It adds to like this Christ complex mixed in with the Joker as well. And further on that, I wish I had it on here. It's like, if you drew a Q on that astrological chart, where the line for the Q would be in between Scorpio and Sagittarius on the bottom, just after Libra. And that's exactly where Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, would be, in between Scorpio and Sagittarius. And so when you put a Q over that, you get that. So that's your alpha omega.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't have the means to bust out the whiteboard. It's all right. This I have a big whiteboard presentation for that thing. So this is interesting because I didn't have much on JD Vance, but because we know Trump's connected to the Q and the Joker and all this, so we have the Aries to Libra. So now we're gonna look at Capricorn to Cancer, the 10th sign to the 4th sign. 10-4. Ever heard that saying before? Mm-hmm. Right? 10-4, that, right? Which represents going from Capricorn to Cancer, going from the darkest, coldest part of winter to the highest, the warmest, brightest part of summer. The rise, that's the rise of the Christ, the 10-4. So then when I heard it was JD Vance was going to be, I was like, JD, that's 10-4. Are you kidding me? So now that's like even more curveballs for trying to predict how the outcome of what it's going to be. And so all those are also the cardinal signs, cardinals representing change, which I think I also bring up. Oh, I have the next 2 slides mixed up, but we can go to the next one.
Sounds good, sir.
The smile I was talking about, you always see the Joker smile. This is like what really got me on the Joker stuff, was like all the Epstein stuff, because I saw the ritual happen, and like, I don't know, I don't find sex trafficking funny at all. No. And when that came out, everyone, I saw the laughing gas just get dumped on society, especially the ones that should be speaking up against it. They all were like, Stephen Hawking's memes, Stephen Hawking's what? Like, that was, to me, that was the laughing gas spell to like just make everyone like to help with the desensitizing. It got everyone on some sort of kind of hive mind, and I was like not a part of that. Like, I even took a break from the internet because I'm like, yo, this world is cooked. Everyone's like, oh my god, you see how funny these Epstein memes are? And I was just like, yo, like, I find everything funny. I don't find that kind of stuff funny. And then it's just ridiculous that they both have to match. Yeah. Like, why do they have to match?
That is booked down.
But that smile, like he has that hook at the very end. You'll see that face readers, we'll talk about that. You see that Joker hook, like you'll start to see that everywhere. You're gonna be like, oh, there it is. There's that Joker hook.
Cat Williams, yeah. Honestly, he was one of the comedians I was even talking about before.
He was very trending at the start of the year, talking on Epstein, talking on that. Joe Rogan returns to YouTube on the leap year day, February 29th. Very special day, very unique. Who's his first guest? Cat Williams. So we have the 29th, Cat Williams' birthday, September 2nd, which is like the Joker. So I was like, oh my God. And what's scary about that is a lot of in the astrology community that did this stuff we're worried that something was going to happen to America during its Pluto return. Pluto returns every 247 years or however old America is. It returns like that many years, and Pluto represents death and change and then like wealth and transfer and all this. So Pluto goes retrograde back into Capricorn on Cat Williams' birthday. They're brewing up something. It's PSYOP September always, but they're brewing up something.
I mean, we're gonna coin that. You coined that phrase, PSYOP September.
And then what I have in the middle, that birth chart. So on the right is the NATO logo, and just like that 1-7 and 10-4 thing I showed, those are all the cardinal signs. This is also a cardinal. It's called the cardinal cross when you have all 4 cardinal signs. So we have China, Russia, NATO, and USA. All their stuff aligns to create a cardinal cross, just like NATO's logo. So might be a crazy September. I'm not sure. Sometimes it always looks crazy and then nothing happens. Who knows? But that we've seen Cat Williams and checking his birthday, I was like, oh God. And knowing about this Pluto happening then, I was like, oh God, what are they up to? And then that was when he was on the first show he did, and then the Joe Rogan one. I was like, oh my God, we're in it now.
I definitely think we have plenty of more silliness coming towards us before the election's over. I definitely think so.
And it's like if it is this Joker energy, it's gonna be like almost something unpredictable, like or just something ridiculous, like open your phone the next day and be like, everyone's gonna be freaking out about something or whatever, and you're like, what?
I mean, I do understand, like, I don't know, maybe for the left, Biden stepping down might have, I don't know if people got upset or triggered. I mean, they all seem happy about Harris. But my opinion, just like, if you go look back at the last election, I just feel like if we're going to go for more chaos and just, stupid shit, there's a lot to catch up on. Like, I just feel like there has to be something else coming, or they really, they dropped the ball. This one, they really were tame compared to last election. That's just my opinion. There has to be something else silly or stupid.
Well, that was all I had for us here today.
All right.
Or as far as this presentation, we can ponder the Joker some more. And hopefully bring awareness to people. We'll start seeing it everywhere, and hopefully it doesn't haunt you like it's been haunting me, or it did for a bit. Because it's everything. It's like the Nephilim clowns. Like clowns is a big thing that shows up a ton. And then you can look into like the homunculus and Billykin and like and everyone I've showed like this kind of Joker enigma too has all gone down deep rabbit holes. I'll have to gather some of these people. They'll come on and be all crazy.
Billykin is associated with the Jesters too.
Yeah, there you go. And there's in Hawaii too, there was like the Royal Order of Jesters, which was one of the only secret societies to get caught sex trafficking as well, which fits with the Epstein, the Joker, and all of that stuff. Wetaline
tours. They were using Wetaline tours in Brazil, the Jesters, and they got busted. They were almost practically doing an Epstein situation. They had a girl that was like going and getting like other village girls. And I mean, there was pictures, not of like anything going on, but there was pictures of like these old rich dudes with these like young village chicks that were on the boats. It was even in the series that we covered on the Royal Order of the Jesters. People want to check out that series. We do cover that. Yeah, how they got busted for doing that and taking girls from New York to Kentucky, prostituting them through massage parlors.
Damn.
Yeah. Gus Bilirakis, Trump, last election. Came out and said, that's my boy, Gus Bilirakis over there. Gus Bilirakis got taken out of an election because they found out that he used election funds to pay his lodge dues for the Royal Order of the Jesters. And you're not allowed to do that, so he had to drop out of an election.
Speaking of clowns and Trump, it was 2016 when we started seeing all those random clowns popping up everywhere. Remember, like people were claiming that they were seeing these clowns just in the middle of the street.
People
doing
had like
nothing.
videos and pictures of them.
And they
Yeah.
were, yeah, and they were just, they had like evil faces on. Well, I mean, yeah, but they were like just randomly popping up throughout the U.S. I think, if it was just the U.S., but it was 2016, and that was the year that Trump got elected.
Yeah, that is a good point. Very good point. I remember that.
One thing I didn't bring up at all that I meant to touch on was, it's the Joker says, "Why so serious?" Right? Mm-hmm. Serious is in the sign Cancer, at the top of the chart as well. So it's a lot with that. There's like a whole serious rabbit hole to go down with that as well that fits with everything.
Interesting.
Yeah, for people wondering, the Gangsters series, because somebody already asked, this is the 4th YouTube. There's no way that series is on here. Unfortunately, you can go check it out on Pipe, BitChute, Rumble, or go listen to the old audio. I mean, that episode, I'm be totally honest with you, was probably like 6 months into the Occult Rejects even being around. So it's very old and might even sound very different and low quality, but it's high quality. There is a lot of information in there, and if you can watch the visuals on Rumble or BitChute, I suggest that, because we do show our receipts of where we're making all these connections and paperwork from court cases. Like, I actually made a Pacer account and actually was able to go in and look at court cases to see if they're real. Sometimes you get people that like want to, which I have found, and I'm not dissing the lady because I think she has done some great work. I mean, we all know her name. I don't even want to say it on here. She has done a lot of work on the Gangsters and Q and stuff. But I mean, there was some court cases she was referencing to that did not exist in Pacer, but there was some that were. So, did they get scrubbed, or was it maybe confusion or, adding fuel to the fire? But, I actually was able to pull up, receipts on a lot of the court cases and stuff. So it's definitely worth checking out. I don't know. Lisa, did you want to add anything? Not putting you on the spot or anything, just wondering if there was anything going on in that.
This was really amazing. This is a lot to take in.
Yeah, I'll have to say.
Enormous amounts of great info. And like you said, it plants the seeds. All of a sudden, my brain is just like thinking of all these different connections with just the first things you mentioned.
Yeah. The first time I tried to make the presentation, it was like too deep, and it was like I was like, okay, no, I need to just kind of settle it, make it just more of a seed planting thing rather than like because just what I was seeing was like even too much for me, who like just can handle this kind of stuff. I was like, oh, this is deep, this is dark.
First 15, 20 minutes, I was even like, I think I'm in over my head with this stuff. And then like the slides started getting like a little bit less known. I was like, all right, I could roll with this now. So yeah, thank you, man. That was very impressive. It was exactly what I hoped for. I definitely would love to get you back on again if you want to keep continuing with this. So
like I continue with this and maybe get some other guys that have continued on the rabbit hole when I had to get off of it, and then like I'd like tons of other kind of codes that I could cover like a whole topic and use gematria to explain it all. Yeah, I was hoping to maybe get. I would love to try to get you and Cthulhu together one day. And I think he's got a lot on that like Sirius, the Jester, and like Sirius and Sirius A, and like that kind of like why so serious. He's got a lot of like those kind of codes too. So I think he would be good for that kind of stuff too. All right, so just real quick, let everybody know, new people in case you want to get in touch with them. Lisa, she has a link tree down in the bottom. Her contacts are down there. Contemporary Problems, I already have a link tree for him for the Teej down in the bottom. And again, like Lisa even mentioned before, he is on the website. So if you're willing to go check out some stuff you don't mind reading, he's got some information on there. And plenty of other people have added lots of great work on there. So occultresearchinstitute.org. And thank you, everybody in the chat. I specifically actually went live today because I do know that we have people who jump in on the live that are like huge into this stuff. And the chat was on fire. So that's, I love it. Thank you very much. I will leave this up for a little bit. So if people, catching it, the replay, I highly suggest to check out the live chat. There was a lot said in there on this episode that goes along with what he was saying. And I appreciate it again, everybody.
something.
One more thing. The requested Jesters episode, Shriner's Jesters episode on BitChute, I went in and attached it to the chat.
Oh, hell
for
yeah.
people. Part
Awesome.
1. So I'm sure you can, go from there.
That was a gangster move. Thank you. Awesome. All right, yeah. So again, thank you everybody. I had a great time. Again, I love all the people that are jumping in on the chat. That's what's up. That's why I go live. Check out tomorrow night. Me, Headless, Jin, and Teresa will be covering the Olympics. I do think Teresa might. I don't want to put her on the spot, but I do think she might actually be trying to show a connection between the Queen and this. I could be wrong. So that should be interesting. And then you're going to have Jin's going to be looking at it a completely different way that Headless is, and I'm going for the eyes. So you're actually going to have like 4 people really touching on this whole thing in completely different angles. So it should be very interesting. Definitely check it out. And I'm done plugging away. Again, thank you all. And until the next one, everybody be well. Later.